Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Bus, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week in the Buffalo Stampede, 2-0 for Colorado as they knock off the Nebraska Cornhuskers 36-14 here at Folsom Field. We're going to recap with my broadcast partner, former coach Gary Barnett, solid reporter Andy Lindo. Of course, we're going to hear from Coach Prime and a number of players, including some Buffs royalty from basketball. All this week on the Buffalo Stampede. Pocket, runs out to his left, and he's going to pump, and he's going to run, dives, end zone, touchdown, touchdown, Colorado. He went airborne, bounced off a Husker. Well, Shedeur Sanders was outstanding once again in the second game of the season. He had 2 passing touchdowns and that rushing touchdown as the Buffs are 2-0 as they knock off Nebraska 36-14. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, Coach Gary Barnett. Well, that was kind of fun for the second week in a row.
It was really a lot of fun, Mark. It was just amazing, the atmosphere that the fans have created here. I mean, I know the university's done a lot of it, but let me tell you, there were so many people here. And we had a 10 o'clock start. They were in their seats at 9:30
yes.
or 9:15. It was just amazing. And so the city, the state, the university has just, they bought into this, and we've just created an unbelievable atmosphere here at Folsom.
Yeah, safe to say that Buff Nation is on fire right now. The Buffalo's outstanding today. Let's go back to Shedeur Sanders for a second. Last week, he has 510 yards and 4 touchdowns. This one, a little bit tougher challenge today with that Nebraska defense, the way they defended this team. Slow start, but once he picked it up, 75% completion percentage, almost 400 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, rushing touchdown. Evaluate that quarterback for me.
Well, it's hard to believe that he had those kinds of numbers watching the game because, he had 8 sacks. How do you do all those yards and have 8 sacks?
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden he comes up with it because he makes plays. He finds a way. He scrambles to throw the ball. He's always looking to complete a pass. And, the guys are great getting themselves open. But I give Nebraska a lot of credit. I thought they had a great game plan. Their secondary tackled extremely well. But we hung in there. To me, this game was a game where we struggled a little bit on offense, but defense gave us such a lift and 3 turnovers that you had to take advantage of it, and they did. So it became complimentary.
I want to talk more about that defense in just a moment. Right now, though, let's hear from Coach Prime after the Buffs beat Nebraska 36-14. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Celebrate responsibly.
Great win. Started off slow. Played like hot garbage in the first half. Probably 5 minutes left in the first half. We started picking it up quite a bit and doing what we're capable of doing. Hats off to the defense and how they were steadfast today. They atoned for the disappointment that we were last week defensively. We still gave up a few plays, but overall, I think we forced 3 turnovers, and we didn't give up an explosion to the end. So I'm really proud of the defense. Special teams stepped it up, and Jace Feely is who he is. He's unbelievable. So overall, it was a win. To just think that we played like we played and we won by that margin, that's a pretty good feeling for any coach. And I think for you all to see what we're capable of doing. I keep saying more and more young men as well as coaches are believing. I think we're up to probably 80% now of young men in that locker room as well as staff and support staff truly believing what we're capable of doing. We didn't just want to win, we wanted to dominate. In the first half, we weren't dominant. In the second half, we got it together. We wanted to really impose our will because the whole theme of the week was it's personal. They really took it to heart, that whole theme of the week. A lot of this stuff is new to me, you got to understand. So I know I've been to the highest level in World Series as well as Super Bowls, but in the coaching aspect, in Power Fives, just to see, I think it was a sellout last week. I think the most broken attendance record, I believe, for TCU, and what we accomplished today. And to see that many people that came to see us perform, it was tremendous. Not just the number, but the energy and the love and the expectation. I love that. I really did. I'm driving over to the set kickoff. It was phenomenal. Just feeling the energy of the student body as well as the fan base here was unbelievable.
Head coach Deion, Coach Prime Sanders after the Buffs' victory over Nebraska as we continue with Gary Barnett. Before we get to the defense, which was very good, I thought, in this game, this offense shows you something. There are so many weapons out there. You got to kind of pick your poison if you're the defensive coach for the opposition, don't you? I mean, Xavier Weaver had 170 yards receiving in this ball game.
He did, and Mark, they didn't man up with anybody. They didn't say put their best back on Travis Hunter. They played 5 DBs back there. They played off, sunk a guy down every once in a while, but they played off, made you throw short, and then made a good tackle.
Yeah.
But Weaver found holes a couple times. He got a couple of initial short passes, but then he was able to get himself into a couple seams that Shedeur found him in, and more so than the other guys did. And it's not that they let him go, because they weren't trying to necessarily man up a certain guy on a certain guy. He just found holes, and Shedeur found him.
Well, the defense, though, Gary and I talked about that a lot during the radio broadcast of Colorado Football Network. Last week, maligned a little bit. This week, made a big step forward.
Absolutely. And, when you get 3 turnovers, your defense gets you 3 turnovers. Man, you have a chance to win any football game. I don't care who you're playing. And they got that. Now, they gave up a bunch of yards rushing, 222. Some of that was on the long run by the quarterback, but it's still a long run. Sure. It's a lot of yardage. So, they're going to want to fix that. But we had 2 sacks. We had some tackles for a loss, which we didn't have a week ago. We had a lot of pressure by our up front guys. We played a lot of guys. We had good balance. It was a really good complementary football by our defense.
Gary, you think about this schedule so far. A lot of teams will be 2-0 by the time this weekend is over. Colorado's played 2 big-time football games to earn a 2-0 record.
Exactly. This is not an easy 2-0. Very few teams would take on a schedule like this, and it's been there for a while. We knew it was coming, but we've handled both teams. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, very impressive. Buffs are 2-0 after the 36-14 win over Nebraska. Coming up next week, Colorado State coming to town. Late one on Saturday. It's an 8 p.m. game. Coming up next in Stampede, we're going to talk with our sideline reporter, Andy Lindahl. Ball, low snap, grabs this one, drops, scanning, looking, now runs to his right, whips it down the side, and it is picked off! Picked off by Colorado's Cameron Silman-Craig, and another turnover by the Huskers inside! Well, early in this game, it was a stalemate at 0-0, and there's a big interception by Cameron Silman-Craig, safety for the Buffaloes back in the Stampede, as the Buffs knock off Nebraska 36-14. Silent reporter Andy Lindahl, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Defense, coming off last week's game. I'm not sure I would have thought I would have been sitting here talking about how the defense was a key in this game, but there certainly was.
Shiloh Sanders told us in postgame he heard everything that we said, and they were out to prove the media wrong, that they could play some D, and boy, did they show it today. Yeah, you know what? It was a stalemate in the first quarter, and that interception I thought was huge. Great read, got underneath, and it set the tone. It got Colorado some points that they need, got them in the end zone, really, and that's what they needed, Mark. And so just a great day, I thought, all around by the defense. I know Coach said there's some things to clean up, and every coach is going to feel that way. But when you look at what happened a week ago, and look, we talked to some Nebraska people. They were hell-bent to run the football. I thought they did a great job defensively, not letting them run out of control. They had the one big run where they brought too many. Coach talked about it. They brought a blitzer. The quarterback snuck out to the other side. That added a lot to the total. But I thought overall, especially in the second half, Colorado did a great job defending the run.
Well, they had 222 yards rushing, but keep in mind, you had the long run by Jeff Sims, the quarterback, and the long running back run as well.
Right.
And so there's a big chunk, probably 125, 130 yards of that 220 came in those 2 plays right there. What I liked was kind of the persistency, stick-to-itiveness with that defense. Early on, this game was not easy. And that defense kind of continued chugging away and eventually kind of found itself.
It's funny you would say that. I just texted it to a friend of mine who said, wow. Because there are still people that are wondering, is this real? Because, naturally, after the game, everyone's going to ask, is TCU as good as a year ago? Well, we don't know that. But I know this. The speed's legit. And you know what I like about this team? They don't care if it's easy. They don't mind if it's not easy. They don't mind if it's close. They showed it again today. Easy, not easy is just fine with them.
Yep.
Put that on a T-shirt.
The Buffaloes get the victory. Michael Westbrook walking by. Christian, here they got all the guys coming. Some of the greats here in Colorado history leaving the building right now as the Buffs win 36-14 over Nebraska. Afterward, we heard from a few of the players.
I truly appreciate going through this game, going through this with my team, so we know how to respond when adversity hits. Because last week it was back and forth, but this week, okay, the defense stepped up. Offense was really slacking. But It was a good defense we played, though. I like the scheme. I like the scheme of them. It made it tough on us. But I'm just happy I was able to face it, so next time going against it, I'll be good.
As a defense, we just got to keep stacking days and getting better because we still had a few assignments that we messed up on that we can get better and correct. So we just got to keep stacking days.
Our receiver core is great. You know, it's hard to stop all of us. We got too many weapons on the field at once, so it's hard for the team to play man. If they want to play man, it's over with. You know, so they got to drop 8. So we practiced this coverage all week, and we just had to get a feel of it and get rolling. And once it started rolling, we ain't stopped.
Getting the second win, grateful, appreciative of it. But, you know, whenever you coming off a high, like as in we winning, everybody's talking about us and stuff like that, we got to be able to lock in and stay focused. So that's really where the second game came in, to where we were able, okay, we won. Everybody's talking about Colorado. Everybody don't believe us. Now they're believing and stuff like that. So now we got to be consistent. So the fact that we was able to go out there and play good football, the defense was able to step up for us, and the offense took its time to get started. It just shows us like our teammates and how we are for each other, and that, you know, when times get tough, we can lean on each other.
There's a few of the players post-game after the Buffalo's victory over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Colorado 2-0 as we open up Folsom Field for the 100th season. We continue with sideline reporter Andy Little. Let's flip to the offensive side. Shedeur Sanders, the collected nature of him. How impressed was it field level to watch him?
It's really impressive. Now, he's got some great targets to throw to. They've got great team speed, but they've had some good speed in the past. You haven't been able to utilize it because the quarterbacks have not been to this level. What continues to impress me about Shedeur is he is so calm under pressure. Guys keep coming, things are breaking down, a blitzer gets through, it doesn't shake him. And then, if he can get away from the first rush, which he does quite often, his eyes are downfield. I said it in pregame today, I'll say it again. He's like Ben Roethlisberger. He just wants to get away from you. He's looking to buy his receivers time because he knows how talented they are. Xavier Weaver told us after the game that he knows that if he gets open, he'll get found. Sure. And I think that keeps the play alive for everybody. The kid he's a bona fide Heisman candidate.
I don't think people understand that calmness under pressure is something generally you don't teach. It's either there or it's not, and how rare that is for a quarterback. And Shedeur's got that in spades. I mean, enormous amounts of it. They ran the ball, not huge numbers, but they were efficient enough when they needed it in the second half. Finally found some room to run with Anthony Hankerson and Dylan Edwards to find some room to kind of balance things. That really helped the offense in this game.
Oh, it did. Coach talked about it during the game when it was happening, but they definitely needed to get some of those runs off because they had to keep the secondary was dropping everything back. And you talked about Travis Hunter had a small moment of frustration. No big deal. Yeah. He's a great player. He wants to get the football. They had guys, they were bracketing him all day. They were keeping people back. The run game made him get out of that a little bit and help open up the pass.
So now the Buffaloes get ready for the Colorado State Rams coming to town next weekend. That's an 8 o'clock game right here at Folsom Field. We're going to hit the air on the Colorado Football Network at 6 with the pregame shot at Dwayne Field. Coming up next, we're going to hear some more of the postgame of the Buffs victory over Nebraska here at Folsom Field. First down and goal to go from the 8-yard line. There's a shotgun snap taken by Shedeur, giving the end around, running at the 10-yard line, cutting up field. Dawson into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Colorado on a reverse. Savion Washington, a tackle, got down and blew up a defender at the 2-yard line. Little jet sweep there on a touchdown by Tavarish Dawson. One of 2 touchdowns. He had one there on the run. How about that big block by Savion Washington? That one kind of pancaking the guy at the goal line. Also had a receiving touchdown. Buffaloes win over the Nebraska Cornhuskers 36-14. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson back here at Folsom Field. Great day in Boulder for this one, opening up the home schedule for Colorado. And afterward, our Andy Lindahl caught up with a number of guys on the defensive end, including Jordan Dominic. Powered by Ford. Cars, trucks, and SUVs built for America. Built Ford proud.
How much did you enjoy this first chapter of the Nebraska rivalry?
Man, I loved it, man. It was definitely a rivalry. I've been through rivalries before, but there was nothing like this. Like, the energy out here was electric, just having the stands go crazy. And then that was the first time I've seen, somebody rush the field in person. So, that was a completely different experience for me. I didn't know what was going on. I was just part of it, But it was good, man. I loved the rivalry. I loved the game. We came in prepared, focused, and ready to play. Didn't play our best football, but, we played what we needed to do. We did what we needed to do. We did our job, and we came out with a win, which was was what we were expecting and what we worked for. So I'm happy with that.
After last week, I mean, look, this is a defensive game, especially the first half, as the offense got their flow going, right? Did you guys enjoy that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a defensive game. You know, it was an offensive game last week. Defense didn't play as well as we could have. And, you know, that's just our thing right now, is just working off each other. If our offense is down, we're going to pick them up. If the defense is down, offense is going to pick them up. So at the end of the day, we just working off each other. And, shoot, you see the bond that we have in the locker room. You see the bond that we have as a team. Offense and defense working together. A lot can be done, as you can see today.
All right, so look, I've been around this team a long time. I'm a native here. I don't think I've ever seen an environment like we saw today as far as the atmosphere. What was the energy like for you guys?
That was insane. I knew it was going to be crazy from pregame warm-ups. You know, we walk out there and, like, the entire student section's already filled up and we hadn't even started putting pads on yet. So I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a day. And then when we ran out there and just taking the field, it was just insane. Just the level of, like, just the hype, the crowd, everybody into it. Like, that was the loudest I've been in the stadium in a while. I'm not going to lie. It was the loudest I've seen in the stadium.
You showed us today you can chase down a quarterback, but I got to ask you about yours. I mean, Shedeur, the way he just stays calm, the way he looks down the field, what do you think of your guy?
It's funny because we were making jokes about that on the sideline. We were talking about that man Shedeur looks like he's just messing around, just playing backyard ball when he's out there. But no, it's awesome. Like, just he's such a high level and competent quarterback that he's able to keep calm and under any given situation. He's able to get out of any kind of pressure, any kind of pocket. He knows what he's doing. And just to be able to watch him in action and just see him on the field, it's just like, it's a humbling experience because you're really watching one of the greatest, like, college football players I've ever seen, like, come out here. Not just him, but Travis Hunter, a lot of people on this team as well. We have a whole bunch of athletes, and just seeing not just Shedeur put them into place, but them putting themselves into places too. It's just amazing just seeing everybody work, everybody play, and, you know, I'm just happy to be a part of it, man.
Yeah, it's a great energy, great vibe coming off you. Last one for you. You know, Nebraska was a big deal for a lot of these Colorado fans. Are you guys getting a little bit of the buzz about what the in-state thing is with Colorado State now? You ready for that?
I'm just going to say it's personal. That's all I'm going to say. It was personal this week. We're going to make it personal next week. You know what it is. So that Colorado State game, I'm excited for it, but we're taking it one game at a time. We're going to go celebrate this one, put it behind us, and get ready next week. You know what it is. Yes, sir.
Who's been your favorite star to see here, by the way?
My favorite,
you guys got celebrities everywhere. Yeah, Michael Irvin is freaking out when you're making plays. I mean, who is it?
It's hard to tell. Like, I love Michael Irvin. We had Lil Wayne come in here earlier. We had a whole bunch of people come through. We had T.O. I can't even tell you a favorite. I feel like my favorite would probably be, either Michael Irvin or Lil Wayne. Yeah, just because I love Wayne music, and Michael Irvin's just a legend of the game. Or Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp, number one, obviously. Defensive lineman, Hall of Famer, came in here and taught us a lot. So just being able to learn from him and get the knowledge that he has is just amazing. So definitely that's my number one, Warren Sapp right now.
One of those transfer athletes for the Buffaloes, he came in from Arkansas, Jordan Dominic, explosive. Came in with 16.5 career sacks, and he was creating problems for the Nebraska Cornhuskers this afternoon. As the Buffs win 34-16 over Nebraska. Coming up next, we'll check in with a couple of more players after the Buffs' victory over the Huskers, and a special guest. He's Denver royalty. I'll give you a hint coming up next.
It up into the box. There's Shira James, hits it in! Shira James. So the Buffs, they improved to 7-1 on the year. They will go back at it at DU, University of Denver. That will be on Friday. And as for Colgate, they will fall to 1-6-1.
Well, it wasn't all about football. Had other sports here at the University of Colorado. It's been a great start to the sports season for the Buffaloes. A little soccer on Sunday at Princeton Field against Colgate. Back at the Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, as we recap the Buffs' victory, 36-14 over Nebraska. One guy who was outstanding, and there's so many weapons on offense. Xavier Weaver had 170 yards receiving and a touchdown. And our Andy Lindell caught up with him after the game.
Talk to me about this game today. What did you guys change in the second half to really get things going?
We ain't changed nothing. We just had to pick up the energy. We knew we was beating ourselves in the first half, so we ain't changed nothing. We just did what we had to do.
Talk about just the rivalry, your first date. Now, you know what? Shedeur's giving him a hug. Quite the combo here today. All right, you know what? How much fun are you having playing with that guy?
Oh, for sure. I'm having a lot of fun. You know, he knows how to read on the defense. He knows where the ball need to be at a certain time and when it need to be there, so it's fun playing with him.
As a receiver, now some guys, you know, they're going to leave quick, right? They're getting out of the pocket. You may have to start blocking. What's it like for you knowing he's not going to look to break the line of scrimmage and give you a chance to get open? What do you have to do to click with that?
We got to run around and get open. Don't even try to block. You know, he wants to get his passing stats up and stuff like that. His passing rating good. So just keep running around. Find open grass. Get open.
Do you try to get in his line of sight, or are you just looking for the first open?
Getting in line of sight. If you ain't in line of sight, you ain't getting the ball.
What did you think of the rivalry here today? I mean, not as intense maybe as some that was promised. You guys had a very good game, but how was the rivalry for you?
No, it was a lot what I expected. You know, I seen a lot of red, and I told them they're gonna be gone by halftime. So I was surprised they stayed the whole game, but it's what I expected.
All right, now you guys have CSU next week. You ready for another big kind of thing for the Colorado fans?
You know what? Just another game on the schedule, so we ready.
Now there's Xavier Weaver, also in the postgame, by the way. It's not just football we cover here on the Buffalo Stampede. It's Buffs greats, and they're not always from the world of football. How about from the world of basketball? One of the greats of all time, Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey Billups, was down in the locker room. We made sure we cornered him to talk about his team.
All right, Chauncey, you know a little something about being the man, or him, I guess. I'm too old. I don't know the lingo, but him. What do you think of some of the guys that are on this team that, especially Shador, are looking like him?
Yeah, he's incredible, man. I mean, it's, what they're doing right now is just as beautiful. I mean, they're bringing so much excitement to the program, to college football, period. I think what Prime has been able to do from his leadership standpoint has been unmatched, you know, in a short amount of time. And obviously it's only been 2 games, but it's not even about that. It's about the culture has changed so quickly. And me, having been a player and a coach, I know how hard it is to change culture. And he's done it in a very short amount of time.
Is it fair to say the alumni is energized?
All the alumni, no matter what sport you played, is proud to be a Buff right now. It's very proud. I mean, winning helps everything, you know. And anytime you get a chance, no matter what program it is, to win, you're gonna hop on his back.
Just last thing, how much fun have you had these first 2 weeks just watching this team? I mean, not a lot of offense really in any team in football this, you know, in this state for 5 years. How much fun has this been?
It's so much fun, man. So much fun just watching it, being a part of it. Prime and I, you know, we talk kind of often. We've become pretty good friends, so I know the behind the scenes of things that's going on as well. So it's just been a lot of fun, man. I just want them to keep going, you know.
Anytime you can talk to Chauncey, that's a good day. He was smiling, no doubt about that. Buffaloes get the victory over Nebraska, have won 3 straight, by the way, against Nebraska. First time that's happened since 1956 to 1958. It's been over a half century since the Buffs have won 3 in a row against Nebraska. They'll look to make it 4-0 next year's. We'll play in Lincoln on September 7th of 2024. Coming up this week, Colorado looks to go 3-0 in the season. They've got the Colorado State Rams coming to town on Saturday night. That's an 8 p.m. Mountain Time game. We'll hit the air at 6 p.m. on the Colorado Football Network with the Buffalo Stampede pregame show. Nice start for Coach Prime of the Buffs. They're 2-0. Could be in the top 15 by the time the poll comes out this weekend. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time on the Buffalo Stampede.